From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production, the NFL Bet Exchange, hosted by my man, Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod, Jeff Dawson.
What's up, world? It's the one and only Pop DiBiase, primetime capper, and I have with me none other than the man himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson, the Don of Cape Cod, and we are here, NFL Bet Exchange. You already know what time it is, and we are feeling good, and we are feeling great. And it is Week 12 in the NFL. How are you feeling today, Jeff?
You know, I go back to August, September when we were first starting. Now we're already 3 months through. The NFL shaking itself out. I think they'd be happy that there's so many teams still in contention. The preseason favorites are in a little rut right now. The Bills, the 49ers, I'm telling you, they're getting healthier. They're still, in my eye, the team to beat in the NFC. In the AFC right now, listen, as much as we have our little jokes and stuff about Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, when you're the hunted versus the huntee, no one was talking about Kansas City all year. And that's good. You just fly right under the radar. The wild AFC West never turned out to be what we thought it would be. And the Chiefs just taking care of business. Next man up in the wide receivers. And Mahomes to Kels is still like Brady to Gronk. You can't stop it. So going to be an interesting next few weeks, Pops.
Well. So I think that we are on to something really good. And here goes last week. And I'll have the numbers for us for the overall next week. But that's what we finished up at last week. I was 7-6-1. Jeff was 6-7-1 last week. And pretty much we move along. Jeff is still leading me by a few. Yeah, I think Jeff, you have about I think you have 50, not even 50. It's about 76 wins this year. And then I'm sitting at 74.
No, we're both having a great year. Listen, I think I'm around plus 17, 18 games. You're right around plus 15. I mean, if people were just playing our plays, they're not worrying about Thanksgiving dinner. They're going out, getting the caviar, they're having the prime rib, the filet mignons, and a little turkey for dessert. We're doing everyone that wants to pay attention justice.
Right. Yeah, that's what I would say. I think they're tearing up circuit right now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You already know, all my Vegas people, if you're going to one of the casinos for your Thanksgiving dinner, just know who got you that Thanksgiving dinner.
Don't you can tip the dealer once in a while, be gracious,
Right. To tip the dealer always, you know what I mean? Because those is the people that keep you on your P's and Q's, man. Keep you on your toes. You know what I mean? All right, so let's jump into it. Bills, Lions, and the Bills pretty much became residents at Ford Field for this week because now they got themselves they got themselves in a very good position. But as you can see, we got 7-3 with the Bills. It's 4-6 with the Lions. So pretty much we have ourselves a very good game coming up. And pretty much from what I'm seeing here is that you have a Lions team. Nobody's talking about it. Well, some people are talking about it. But this team's won 3 games in a row and should have won 4 games in a row, to be honest with you, because they should have beat the Dolphins being up in that spot as well, too. So it's kind of coming together a little bit here in Detroit. They don't have any – I don't think they have a shot at the playoffs. But I think at the end of the day, that's smoke and mirrors, and that's going to make Detroit really, really attractive. It's even going to make them a possible money line play as well, too, Jeff. But I think that after the Bills lost those 2 in a row, I kind of don't see them losing a game for a while here. And so I truly do like the Bills a lot going into this spot because I feel like it's going to be a very overbet game to the side of the Lions. So I do like the Bills in this spot. I do like them to come back around and have themselves a good game. They just came off of a hard-fought victory over the Browns, who are probably the toughest 3-7 team you'll ever run into. So it is what it is. I'm taking the Bills with the -9. Jeff, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, if you take a look at the Bills' schedule, I don't think they're going to lose a game. Maybe till I think it's the last week in the year, and they play Cincinnati, or the second to last week at Cincinnati, which will be a fun game. The Bills uh, almost fumbled here. Here, the game gets changed to Detroit last week. Instead of beating the Storm, they waited and didn't land in Detroit till Saturday afternoon. Kind of just went through the motions, backdoor cover second half by the Browns, or a push, I should say, on the last touchdown. Kind of funny they didn't go for that 2 there to land on 7. They kicked the extra point, lands on 8. I think the Bills get fat. Hats off to the Lions winning 2 games in a row on the road, getting healthier. They talked about Jameson Williams maybe coming back. I think he'll miss this week. He'll come back 10 days later. Swift getting back into it. Goff, not enough talk about. You got St. Brown there. Listen, I think it'll be a fun game to watch as you're eating the turkey, saying grace, but I think the Bills get it done as well, minus the 9. Probably like a 34-24 type game.
All right, there it is. So we both are in consensus with the Bills going crazy here. So let's see how it goes. Let's see how it shakes out. We move forward to our next game, and that's going to be a good one. This is going to be the Giants and the Cowboys. And I haven't seen the Giants on Thanksgiving in a while. I think the last time they were on Thanksgiving, I think they did whoop up on the Cowboys, or possibly lost. I know Eli was still the quarterback at that time. That's all I know. All right, so I'm looking at the numbers now. You have a Giants team that finally lost, and they lost a really bad game. But to me, and I know you can agree with this, why was anybody surprised that they lost to the Lions the way that they did? We even said on the show that we don't trust either team, but we'll go ahead and take the Giants because they're at home. They're supposed to be good again, and this is a nice little test. But we do have to remember the last time the Lions and the Giants met up, that was one of the Lions' more lopsided wins. It was at home as well, too, but that was a few years back. But sometimes tradition just kind of keeps itself up a little bit, you know what I mean? Because there wasn't that many, they still had the same guys on that team somewhat. So I'm looking at it. You got the Giants, who losers of their last 2 out of 3 after starting the season 6-1. And they've had bad losses too, Jeff. Because Houston, and Houston, we even had an idea Houston could possibly beat them. So Giants fans never believed in them, and now everything's starting to become real in a sense. Even though Brian DeBall is a really good coach, all that good stuff, and yes, this is the 4th best rushing team in the NFL. But they're not doing things that I would think the Giants should be doing. They're not getting enough sacks. They only got 19 on the year, and they got 2 interceptions, Jeff. 2 interceptions. So we can say this. Once again, this was a team that took advantage of a pretty easy schedule. Because when you look at all their wins are, except for 1 or 2, are against teams that are over 500. And yes, they got to win over Tennessee, and they got to win over Baltimore. But both those games were kind of early in the year. Baltimore didn't take them as seriously as they should have. And Tennessee just forgot how to finish a game. All right. So I really do think that the 9 is a very good number. And then we have the Cowboys. Oh, God. The Cowboys have won 40-3. Oh, God. Here goes all the Cowboy fans running to the Super Bowl already. And literally, we know good and damn well that that's not true at all. You know what I mean? This team is nowhere near that. Minnesota was ripe for the beat down. We said that literally going into the game, that they've been playing with house money for a bit. They just came off of a game where they had a big moment in that game, beat a big time team. The letdown is inevitable, and they got in letdown. Literally, they didn't even get off the bus. So the Cowboys had themselves a square game. The Giants had themselves a game where they really overlooked the opponent in a sense, but they're on equal terms with that opponent as well, too. Their record does not show who they really are. So I'm gonna just be and I've just ripped into the Giants, so that means that they got a +9 going into this week, Jeff. And so over under 44.5. So I just ripped into them, right? So I might as well go ahead and take them too, because +9 on the Giants, and literally knowing how bad the Cowboys have been the last like 10 Thanksgiving games, that this is not a hard bet to do, because literally this is like the fifth year in like the last seven they've really overplayed the Cowboys' hands on the odds. Literally, lines makers are playing off the fact that everybody would want the Cowboys if it was a 3.5. But I'm not taking the Cowboys at -9. Forget all that, Jeff. I'm taking +9 on the Giants. On a Thursday, I don't even remember the last time they covered a Thanksgiving game against a rival from the conference. Come on, man.
It's an overinflated 9. The actual number was 7.5, and they moved it to 9. I'm seeing 9.5 in a few spots already. It's overvalued. Again, don't forget the public remembers what they saw last, and it was a Cowboy team beating up on the Vikings, who were ripe for a loss. And then the same as the Giants. We've been talking all year, 2 3-point favorites at home, 1 2-point underdogs at home. They just kept winning. The Lions come in and they just declawed them. And so I think Dallas will win. But with that said, I too am going to take the points. Now, listen, if Daniel Jones tries to get into a shootout here, this game is over. But what does Dallas struggle the most with? It's the running game. You're going to have to get Barkley involved early and often. You're going to have to keep Micah Parsons off Daniel Jones. You're going to have to win the turnover battle. You're going to have to play a perfect game here and try to steal 124-23 or something of that, 24-20, something like that. Again, don't let Dak and company get off early. But I see the whole world on Dallas. This might creep to 10 by kickoff. So hold, if you're going to grab the Giants, hold back. You might be able to get that 10 number before kickoff. I think it's a lot closer than people expect.
And odds makers is really trying to make this to me kind of a difficult day in a sense, don't you think, Jeff? Like just a little bit, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to make it to where, okay, we're gonna overbet the Bills early. Yeah, they're just literally, because it's gonna be a one side to the Bills. Nobody trusts the Lions on Thanksgiving. We know, we all know this. And then you got the Cowboys coming in here with their usual overinflated spread, knowing that the Cowboys are going to be the biggest joke if they are starting to lose the game on Thursday as well too. You know this. You know that's going to happen. And then we come to Patriots and Vikings, which might be the best matchup of the day. And peep this, Jeff, before I get into my analyst for this one. There's going to be 3 matchups between teams that have winning records between them. Everybody else is either a winning record versus a team with a really bad record. There's 15 teams under 500 in the NFL this year. 15. I think 17 to be exact. But that's a damn shame, to be honest with you. That's not good. You know what I mean? But that just reminds me of the good old days of the NFL when you had a lot of parity and you only had so many good teams in the league. So that just goes to show you it's any given Sunday, baby. So you're not going to have an easy out in any of these games. But this game right here is one of those games between teams with winning records, and this is probably the only game where people can really go 50-50 at, because you got a Patriots team that's playing much better football now, and then you got a Vikings team that has learned how to win the close games. Even though they got smoked last week, every single one of their games prior to that was very close. Every single one of their wins was a very gut-wrenching game in a sense. You know what I mean? They really had to work to get those games. Now, both their losses were absolute just dreadful moments, and they were both to NFC East teams. So when you look at it, you say to yourself, hey, the Vikings could be a team that does go a little far in the playoffs because they have the mentality of a playoff team already. But they did slip up last week. But I don't expect the team that just got beat by 37 points to still be lacking. You know what I mean? To still be lacking in their next game. Now, you have a Patriots team that's won their last 3 in a row. That's something that you cannot look past. And they've actually won their last 5 out of 6 after a 1-3 start. And literally were written off. Jeff, were they not written off that, okay, the Patriots are done after the Green Bay game? They weren't even seen as a good team going into the Green Bay game. Then they get Detroit, beat them, shut them out, go to Cleveland next week, beat them by 23, and then they get embarrassed by the Bears, and they ain't lost since. and that's because their defense is playing on a whole nother level right now. They're playing Belichickian defense right now, as I like to say. And I just think that it's looking good, but the Patriots again are going to be they're a dog, and so I think a lot of people are going to have this in the back of their head. This is going to be my dog better today. So I truly do feel like the Vikings play a close game and they win a close game. So I do like the Vikings with the minus 150 in this spot.
Again, people remember what they saw last. Here is the Patriots that wins on the second to last play of the game with a punt return, which Jets should have just kicked it into the stands. They weren't going to do anything. They'd take a knee and gone to overtime. And then the Vikings just get demolished. I talked about this 2 weeks ago. I thought this was set up where the Vikings could lose 2 in a row. Now, what Bill will try to do is to take out the best player on the Vikings. Are they going to try to shut Cook down, or are they going to try to blanket Justin Jefferson? I don't think they can slow Jefferson down, especially after a bad week. With all that said, first one to 23 wins this game. I could see a 2020 Falk field goal or a 2020 Viking field goal. We took the plus 130 here. We're going to ride the Pats train. But listen, I will say this very clearly. Would not be shocked at all if the Vikings rolled here, but we're going to stick with the Patriots. Bill Belichick, short week, travel to Minnesota, get the win, and head out of Dodge.
And there it is. Jeff likes the dog here, so Jeff gonna jump on the dog here. All right, let's get into our Sunday fun day games. Sunday early games, Jeff. Always fun. Always a lot of fun. All right, let's go ahead and jump into probably what is the best matchup of the week this week. And that's going to be the Titans and the Bengals. And the Titans and Bengals meet up in Tennessee. And I'm looking at this right now, Jeff, and I say to myself, okay, we got the Bengals rolling now. The Bengals are right where they want to be, the team of the future. Blase, blase, blase. They've won their last 4 out of 5 games, and they've won 2 in a row after literally getting slammed all around the field by the Browns on Halloween. House of Horrors game. I don't even know why anybody thought they was going to win that game, because it seems like the underdog has won or covered in that Monday Night Football Halloween game the last few years. And it's been House of Horrors. You know what I mean? And, they beat up on Carolina. That was we knew that was going to happen. But they gave up 30 points to the Pittsburgh Steelers last week. That was kind of surprising. You know what I mean? So this defense is a defense I don't trust at the end of the day. You know what I mean? And Tennessee, but lucky enough, they got Tennessee this week. Tennessee has the 30th ranked offense in the league. Okay. 30th, Jeff, that's just 30th ranked offense. And guess what, guys? They have won their last 7 out of 8 after starting the season 0-2. Okay. So literally they've won 7 out of 8 games, and I just really truly think that they could have won 8 in a row if they possibly would have just made a couple of adjustments there. Right? So you have a Green Bay team that is a team that just got a good win at Green Bay last night. So a lot of people have okay, they're ready to roll. And you got the Bengals, who, like I said before, 4 out of 5. So you got 2 of the hottest teams in the league going at it. You know what I mean? And this game will probably be a game that isn't even a national game, Jeff. And it needs to be. But these aren't 2 of the bigger fan bases in the league. So they're dedicated, but they're only dedicated to these teams. But I truly do think that when it's all said and done, the Titans just have more grind to them, and they're tough to beat at home. I like them with the money. I'm just like, we're going to keep playing this game with the Titans where we're not taking them seriously, and then till the point that we got to take them seriously. This is straight out of the old school Patriots. I'm talking about the Patriots 01, 02 Patriots. Your favorite Patriots, the ones that just were the hard luck guys that were featured Mike Baraboo as outside linebacker. I'm talking about the Ty Law days and where the defense was the calling card. That's where the and their defense isn't even that great. It's just that they don't give up points. So I do like the Titans coming into this game.
This is the return of the scene for Joe Burrow. They were like 4 or 5 point underdogs to Tennessee. Tennessee, the number 1 seed, coming off a bye, and Tannehill had 5 turnovers, and the Bengals field goal, and thanks for playing, as they move on and started their dream run to the Super Bowl. If I was starting a team today and I was looking for a head coach, I'd go right there. Mike Vrabel, the guy that gets never talked about. A team, again, started slow. Next thing you know, they rattle off 6, 7 in a row. They've covered 7 straight to boot. Now, it's cold weather. It's O'Henry time. Bengals. Joe Mixon left with a concussion. In comes P. Ryan. Chase still on crutches, but supposedly getting close now. Whether he practiced this week, I don't know. I followed the lead here. I took the plus 100 on the money line. I think it's going to be a great game. Listen, all the Bengal doubters, they're rounding into form. 2 weeks ago, Mixon runs for 5 or gets 5 touchdowns. Last week, it was P. Ryan. Big week from T. Higgins. If they win the turnover battle, and if they start running the ball effectively like they are, no one's talking about them, Pops, but they're going to be back in the mix here for the AFC Championship. But for this week, we're going to run with Do You Remember the Titans?
Remember the Titans. What a movie. Denzel. So with that, we're going to take our first break, and when we get back, we're going to get into some more early games, and you guys stay tuned. This is the NFL Bet Exchange with your host, Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson, and we'll be right back.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners, and I'll Have Another, and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
From the East and the West, you've heard others, but now you've tuned into the best. This is a Prime Wave Media production.
Tune into Big Wave Boxing every week with a brand new guest, with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, getting the best boxing stories, best boxing angles, and the truth when it all comes down to the sweet science. Tune into Big Wave Boxing on the Prime Wave Media channel on YouTube.
All right, we are back with the NFL Bet Exchange with the one and only Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod, Mr. Jeff Dawson. And now we have the Texans, 1-8-1, going against the Dolphins, who are 7-3 on the season. The Dolphins are just such a fun story for South Beach this year. Everybody in Miami is going crazy over there. They're Miami Dolphins right now, and that's good. It's good for the NFL when teams like the Dolphins are a good team, and we both know this. We also see that the Texans are playing to expectations. They're the only team in the NFL playing to their expectations this year, Jeff, to be honest with you. Everybody else is not playing to expectations, in my opinion, except for your beloved Chiefs. They're playing good. A little bit of ref help here and there, but they're playing pretty good, But I'm looking at this right now. I got a Texas team that they say they're hopeless, but see, these are the spots that get people in trouble, Jeff, and you know this. The Dolphins are not a Super Bowl contender. Okay, let's just get that out right now. I know a lot of people like Tua, and he's a good guy. He's a good kid, all that good stuff, but let's keep it real. The Dolphins have had too many 50-50 games this year to be considered a team that you can take to that's going to be a Super Bowl team. Let's just keep it real. I know Miami fans are going to be mad at me, but it'll be okay because they'll realize this in a few weeks. Now they have won 4 in a row, but when I name off these 4 in a row, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Chicago, Cleveland. Now you have Houston. Okay, so you winning these games, aren't you supposed to win these games because these teams aren't good? Now the way they beat up on the Browns, that's respectable. That's probably their most thorough win of the season, other than what they did to the Patriots in Week 1. But the rest of these games, Jeff, all these games have been settled by 6 points or less, dude. Seriously. I'm looking at all their games, and literally, it could have went either way. I don't trust teams like this at all. Even though they are the leaders in the clubhouse of the AFC East, all that good stuff. But I look at what they got to do here after Houston, San Francisco, the Chargers, Buffalo, Green Bay, New England, and the Jets. And the Jets put 40 on them earlier this year. So will the Dolphins possibly miss the playoffs? Jeff, that's my biggest question. Now, this is a game where they're going to have to play a little bit because you have a team that's lost 5 in a row. And yeah, they got pretty whooped last week. And I think that they're going to be better because they're going to have a way better practice this week. They're going to simplify things for this team as well, too. So I would simply say this. I will go ahead and do exactly what probably is the most predictable thing that I would do here, and that's going to go ahead and take these boys at minus 12. I mean at plus 12, and that's what I'm gonna do, Jeff. That's what I'm gonna do, man. Is take them at that number right there, and we roll from there. Now, now, what is your thought?
Well, I think this Dolphins team is dangerous in this regards. Tua will play the win the turnover battle. He's not trying to force the issue. When you have a Tyreek Hill on one side, a Jalen Waddle, a serviceable Mike Gesicki, okay, now they have added not just Mozart, they have also added Jeff Wilson. So they have that running attack, the old 49ers backfield, to play keep away as well. They can score quick or they can march the field 20-20 with you. Their defense is good. Okay, so I think in a playoff setting, they could be dangerous. Are they the Chiefs right now? Are they the Bills right now? No, they're not. But I put them on the same playing field as the rest of the AFC. I put the other two teams in front of them. As for this game, it's an inflated number. Again, it's the real number was 11.5. It's actually 12. I'm seeing 13 in some spots. It will get to 13.5 before kickoff. Expect the Dolphins to score. The under over is 45.5. It's 46 now. I mean, the Dolphins can name their number here. 1-8-1 Houston team, who I think will be able to move the ball. They'll have a few opportunities, but in the end, we took the Dolphins minus the 12. Do I like it? No, but it's a big number. But I expect the Dolphins to try, not just to win the game, but to get the minus 12 covered.
All right, so Jeff likes the 2 touchdowns. Dude, and I know you don't like it, but still, at the end of the day, man, they ain't won a game they ain't beat nobody by double digits this year. They gonna lay that spread out to them. Like literally, like they're asking everybody in Vegas to bet the Texans, dog, and that's where I know where your thinking is coming from as well too, because they beat the Browns by 22, but the Browns, I don't know, you know what I mean? From what I heard that there was a little Belichickian things going on there with the knowing plays before plays were being called and all that good stuff. But see, nobody will ever go further down the road like they did with the Patriots, though. You know what I mean? Yeah, like, because this happens a lot in the NFL where a team just will know everything that you're about to run.
I mean, what do you expect when they're not opening up the playbook with Mac anyways? He can't throw the deep ball anymore. They got no wide receivers supposedly. It's just Ramondre Stevens and a cloud of dust and the defense, as you were talking about back in the day. That's how they won their first championship, and they were predicated with defense. Bill, when he doesn't trust someone, that's what he relies on. Hey, we'll just play the field position game, and so I get it. Anyone can call out their plays at this point because they're as vanilla as it gets, Pops.
Right, but I'm talking about the Browns though. The Browns said that they were getting their plays called out by the Dolphins, and I said that nobody wanted to investigate that.
I got you. Yes.
Yeah, but still, that was a good point about the Patriots. But we got the Bears 3-8, and you got the Jets 6-4. The Jets coming in here is a 4.5 point favorite as well, to over under 41.5. I'm looking at the numbers right now, Jeff. The last 3 games, honestly, the Bears could have won the last 3 games. They've lost 4 in a row, but the only game they lost out those 4 that was not winnable was the Cowboys game. The Detroit game, they were literally about to win the game. The game prior to that, the Dolphins game, they were literally about to win the game. And then last week, they were literally about to win the game. Justin Fields has been playing absolutely incredible. I did tell people that Justin Fields would be probably a fantasy stud this year if he just went ahead and went full Vince Young, which he did do this year. Even though he's not winning like Vince Young used to do. Yeah, Vince was a winner, y'all. Even though Jeff Fisher tried to act like he wasn't, he was a winner, y'all. And I just really truly think that the Bears are turning the corner as a team this year. They're getting more confident on the offensive end. They just need some defense right now. If they had some defense to go with how well the offense has been playing, the Bears could be in contention to something right now. But right now, they're the worst team in the NFC. But that's okay, because them and like 5 other teams have 3 wins on the season as well too. So they're not that bad. They're not in that bad company, you know what I mean? Because literally most of the conference is not that good either. So Bears, I truly do think that the Jets have some issues going on in that locker room right now, because they don't know what to do with their bust of a starter. And Jeff, let's be honest, me and you both knew that Wilson was going to be a bust. You know, this is straight out of the we had no quarterbacks in the draft, so we're going to go ahead and settle on this guy because he had a great season during a year where it was a pandemic and BYU literally played nobody that season. But we're going to make him a first pick in the draft because he was really impressive against Coastal Carolina. You know, he played really good against USC, you know, so they had nowhere to go. They really didn't. And so they went ahead and they took a quarterback that had no business going number 2. Weren't him and Fields in the same draft?
No.
You sure?
No.
Okay. I thought they got drafted at the same time.
Hold on. This is
last year.
2 years. This is Wilson's second year?
Yeah, and it would be Fields'
second year. So, yes.
So how would you – so riddle me this. Why would you pick Zach Wilson before Fields?
Well, they would take it. Wilson was highly talented. Listen, Fields slid. The Broncos were supposed to take him at 9, and they passed.
But I'm just saying, you had a guy on an independent schedule playing nobodies, and then you had a guy who playing at the one of the bigger schools in the nation, pressure every week, and you still took the guy that just, you know, this was straight out of the 1980s. You know, Steve Young and Jim McMahon were able to kind of fool people as well too. Even though Steve Young wound up being pretty good, Jim was pretty good as well too. But you know what I'm talking about, Air Force. So BYU did the same thing. You know what I mean? Well, BYU, I mean. So pretty much, let me just get to the point. The Bears are going to cover. I got the plus 4.5. I think the Jets are about to go into suck mode, to be honest with you. I don't think they win a game for the rest of the year, Jeff. Not if they don't have anything now. They refuse to go to Flacco. I just don't get it.
Well, I think you might. Maybe it was more verbal. Maybe it was to put the fear in God and Wilson after what he said, that he said the defense let him down on Sunday. And the fact of the matter is that their offense averaged 2.5 inches. I said inches per play in the second half. And it was just horrific. I think Flacco could play the managed game. I'm hearing Justin Fields is 50-50 right now. The line hasn't moved, so no one knows what's going on with a shoulder injury. It was 5.5 Jets, now 4.5, so people expecting Fields to play. He's been phenomenal the last month. If he plays, then obviously they're going to punch his chance. I mean, you and I both know you don't take a Jets as a favorite, never mind 4.5 points against anyone. But if Fields is out, then obviously I would definitely lean Jets. I like what Salas has done. I don't like what the offense has done. With them losing Breece Hall a few weeks ago was a huge loss there. And the Elijah Moore experiment, he was asked, how's your working relationship with Zach Wilson? He goes, what do you mean? He never throws me the ball. I have no relationship with him. So there's trouble in paradise there. I took the Jets minus the 4.5, but it's an absolute coin flip, Pops.
Man, you're right, Jeff. Just absolute coin tosses and all that good stuff. And this one is, in all honesty, this next one coming up, Jeff, this one's going to be a coin flip too, because this one is a good game. Commanders Falcons is a very good game. Even though you had this Commanders team, Commanders, man, I'm telling you, didn't I talk about them last week very highly? And the week before, like, you guys got to stop sleeping on Tyler Heineke and, Rivera and the way that Rivera rolls, because Rivera rolls better with these guys that aren't taken seriously like he was, you know what I mean, as a coach. And still, you tell yourself, how does a coach get fired from being, taking the team to their only Super Bowl, to their second Super Bowl MVP, but he had an MVP quarterback as well too. And then you guys still fired him because you guys weren't even in a bad position when you fired him. And he was able to beat cancer, things like that. Now he's back. And, they're playing great football. 5 out of their last 6 as well. They're coming in here as a favorite once again this week. They totally dominated. Thank you very much as well, too. They were probably one of my easiest NFL plays of the season. That was a client premium because, it just everything you said. When you saw that money line at minus 160, you could overspend and say, there goes my guarantee. You know what I mean? Because that's how good this team has been playing. They've been playing great football. They haven't given up more than 21 points from this stretch as well, too. They're scoring much better as well. They're just playing really good football. And then you have Atlanta coming in here. Atlanta is steady. Even though they're 5-6, they're still steady. Atlanta has made it tough on every single team they played this season, to be honest with you, Jeff. Only game that they had an issue with was in Cincinnati. That's it. And then they had some problems against Carolina, but we saw that coming on 3 days on a 3-day notice. But other than that, they've been a tough game. So once again, I feel like this will come down to the final moments, because that's how every game in Atlanta works this season, Jeff. I'm looking at every game in Atlanta. They lost by 1. They won by 3. They won by 14. Then they won by 3. Then they lost by 3. Now they won by 3 last week. Now they come back in this week. So it's going to be a close game. That's all we can factor in. That's going to be a close game. Only game that they really took somebody to the woodshed was your Niners. You know what I mean? But that was different because that was a different day. They'd have McCaffrey yet, and Jimmy G was still getting his feet wet again. So I do like the Falcons here with the +4.
This Commanders team has, I think, taken on the identity of their coach, Ron. As much as you want to call him Riverboat Ron, you look at this team at the start of the year, they bring in Carson Wentz. He gets hurt. He was ready to come back last week. Ron said not so fast. A running back that was shot 3 times that missed the start of the year. He's back with Robinson. Someone they tried to give away with Antonio Gibson, now a big focal point as the pass catching back. Chase Young will be activated and ready to play this week. This team's cooking with Crisco, an Atlanta team that Pitts is now on the IR. They trade Calvin Ridley, a team going nowhere. Maybe just trying to get themselves positioned in the draft lottery. We took the Commanders -4. I just think that, when the dust settles here, maybe it's a late sack, maybe it's a late stop. I think they get it done and they cover the 4 pups.
All right. Well, all right, Jeff. I see how you thinking with this one. I just think that this one, I ain't gonna throw away Atlanta yet. I know everybody, the Bucks, but I still don't trust no 45-year-old quarterback, man. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? We both know that Brady out there looking like Vinny Testaverde. So we don't know how he's going to be week in, week out. And I know one thing, if Atlanta's able to get this big win and the Bucks wind up losing, it's going to be heads rolling on Monday.
We shall see.
You'll see one of these talking heads talk about, I believe in the Falcons, and I think the Falcons are going to be the team, and Brady's washed up. You know it's coming if we get a Bucks loss and a Falcons win, but they probably ain't gonna play that game with us.
Not yet, at least.
Right. Well, at least, and now let's go ahead and talk about the Broncos and the Panthers. This almost ended undisputed yesterday. When they brought up Baker Mayfield, because you know that Skip loves Baker, and Shannon always wants to, kind of dog Baker a little bit. But one thing I will say is I have a lot of opinions about players, but I don't like when guys call today's NFL trash or how hard that they got to kind of work to be in these positions that they're in, And Baker is not a big arm. He's not a Peyton Manning. He's not a Dan Marino, but he's a character, and he's a quarterback that has won in this league before. So, Shannon was kind of talking about the guy as if he never won anything, and it's like, well, he did win some things in the league, and he did kind of help the biggest turnaround in sports, a little bit with the Browns. So, let's not get too crazy, brother. You know what I mean? But I thought it was pretty crazy that they were yelling and screaming at each other. I literally thought the director was going to walk on the set and say, "Enough, guys," producer. But don't worry, Jeff. We'll never get on national television. I won't point my finger in your face and do all that extra stuff. Because, dude, I'm telling you right now, Shed it. You were not dealing with street people when you're talking to Skip.
No, hell no.
You're not getting away with that in Roxbury.
That's a big no.
Right. You're not going get away with that down across the street from Jeff's house.
Nope, that ain't happening either.
Yeah, you're not getting away with that. Nobody cares how big your shoulders are. All right, let's get to it. But Jeff, never worry about it. I will never point my finger in your face to get a point across.
There you go.
I just got too much respect for you. All right, man. Broncos, Panthers. I'm gonna be real quick here. Broncos after that embarrassing loss to the Raiders, because literally they did not. It's like you want to win the game, but you can't win the game. The Raiders and the Broncos are going through the same headache. We play hard every week, but for some odd reason, we don't have the ball last, so we don't win the game. So it's simple, man. I'm taking the Broncos. I'm not doing the Panthers. Just got the coach. Don't even know who you want to start this week. Is it gonna be Sam? I keep saying, just start Phil. Just start the guy from Temple, the guy who could have kept Matt Rule employed if he would have just. Jeff, you got it. Go ahead.
No, it's a game where, listen, we were all tricked. We were all fooled. We're going to find out something in the offseason, whether Russ is hurt or something, because, listen, they're 10 games in, and their offense is the most pathetic I've ever seen. I'm trying to think outside the box. Listen, they've tried to find a QB for how many years? Russ was the savior, and they just invested a boatload of money. Tim Patrick goes down early. Sutton and Judy have been non-factors. They don't have a tight end. Their defense is good, Their offense is just pathetic. And now, let me see. Okay. Melvin Gordon fumbles for the fifth time. So what do? They make him the scapegoat. They release him. The same time they release him, Chase Edmonds has a high ankle sprain. So they have Latavius Murray and a cloud of dust. Who they calling? Terrell Davis? Who else are they going to call? I mean, they have no backs. They have no quarterback. They have no offense. I can't trust Russ. So as bad as this sounds, Pops, I'm taking the Panthers +3 -120. We bought the hook. This is the lowest under over I've seen non-weather related in a long, long time. It is, as we speak, the opening total was 34.5. It's up to 36.5. First one to 20 wins, Pops.
I like them type of games, Jeff. And then you say this, Jeff, and then watch this. We'll get to the first quarter, and they'll be over the 36.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Russ
over the 36, no problem.
Oh yeah, he's going to hit Shannon Sharp for 2 quick touchdowns, and then here comes Rick Upchurch, and and next thing you know, may he rest in peace, Demarius Thomas from the moon. Oh yeah, this has got it written all over it. Right. Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. Steve Smith is very high on the Panthers as well too, and their receivers. But we'll talk more about that when we get back, and we will get back in a few. So you guys stay tuned. We got our afternoon games coming up as well too. So this is the NFL Bet Exchange with your host, Bob DiBiase, the primetime capper at the Diner Cape Cod, Dawson, and we'll be right back.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back, and it's time to jump into some more games, but first it's going to be the Browns and the Bucks. Browns and the Bucks. We got Grandpa Brady going against. Is it Deshaun week this week, or we got to wait one more week?
Got to wait another week. I think your Browns go Bucks, and then they then have a bye week, and then they go to Houston.
Oh man, Deshaun.
Can you imagine the NFL did that to him? That when he's ready to come back, they got to go to Houston. I mean, that's just a kick in the you-know-what. If I'm the Browns, I'll say, I'm going to save you the misery. We're going to let Jacoby play one more week, and then we'll have you start the following week. That's BS on the NFL.
Man, I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be the sound of revenge this week, Jeff. I'm telling you right now. This Browns team is just, oh, man, what is this Browns team should be so much better, Jeff. I just hate to see them be 3-7 when I know this team should be 5-5. At the worst, because there's 2 games that they should have won, easily should have won. There's 3 games they could have won. You know what I mean? That it's just like, and I'm not gonna say if Deshaun was there, it would have been different, because this Browns defense is awful in the fourth quarter. They're a 3-quarter defense at best, you know what I mean? And I know that they have a lot of things going on kind of internally a little bit. Now it's every time a Brown gets into a car accident or something off the field, they start becoming like public enemy number 1 in the city of Cleveland. And now that's Myles Garrett. And I'm just like, hold on, time out. Myles Garrett is one of the best pass rushers in the league. There's 31 other teams that will gladly take him on. You know what I mean? Don't let's not get silly here, Cleveland. You know what I mean? When did you have a pass rusher that was that effective in the 22 years you've been back? You haven't had anybody like that since Clay Matthews. You know what I mean? So let's back it up a little bit. You know what I mean? And you look at it, okay, Brissett is trying, right? He's trying. But I think the Browns' main problem is that they don't run, that they just don't give Chubby the ball 20 to 25 times a game, but you don't want to wear him out either at the same time. See, that's what people have to understand about today's NFL. You don't have the old Jerome Bettises and the steamroller John Riggins running backs of the world that can go 20, 25 carries each game. A guy getting 20, 25 carries each game is going to be a running back that's going to play about 8 games in a season, Jeff. Me and you both know this. This is why Saquon does 25 carries a game. This is why, well, Henry gets a lot of carries a game because it doesn't really matter because Tennessee knows that's all they got. But all in all, they can't overuse Chubb. And I think that they're going to have to overuse him a bit in this game against the Buccaneers. I say that they got a good shot in this game because they're going to get an old quarterback in Brady. And Brady's not putting – when have the Bucs scored 30 points this year, Jeff? When have they – just name time.
Probably this week. How's that sound?
This week? Well, yeah, defense is that bad. They might give up 30 to them this week.
They've definitely struggled. And getting back to your Jacoby and the Browns at 3-7, I remember 3 games at least. They had the ball driving in the red zone with a chance to win, and he threw a pick or didn't score. So you're right. They should be. He could have got them to a 5-5, potentially to a 500 record with Deshaun ready to take them home with an outside shot at the playoffs.
Well, the Browns still they're gonna need some help, but they could possibly get in there, Jeff. But I don't see anybody who I'm gonna be dead honest with you. It takes 11 wins to get in on the AFC side. It takes 11. It's usually 10. It used to be 10. Now, since we got an extra week, that's winning 10 games don't really mean much no more. 11 games is what it takes to get into the playoffs, in my opinion. The Browns have ran out of time. In my opinion, they're not going to win 8 in a row. So I do like them though going into this game because the Bucs. I still don't believe in anything the Bucs are doing. The Bucs are just literally going off the fact that they're a team on fumes. To be honest with you, they got an old quarterback. You know, just coming off of 3 straight losses. They've won 2 in a row, but they were 2 games that were literally handed to him. So Brady can stop embarrassing himself every week in and week out. So I really, truly do want to take the Browns with the plus 135 because this is a signature win. And I'll just be honest with you. They haven't been good against the AFC this year. They lost to Pittsburgh. So I'm giving the Browns a shot here too because they're way better than Pittsburgh offensively.
You know, I'm looking at the opening numbers, 3 and a 44, basically 24-20. That's what they're telling you. Tampa coming off a bye, winners of their last 2. If you go back to when Brady went to Tampa and they won their Super Bowl, they went into the bye week, I think 5-4, and then they sheeted. They won the rest of their games. Then they traveled to Washington in the playoffs. Heineke's first start ever, 11-point favorites. They go to the Saints, 2.5-point dogs. They win that game. Then they go to Green Bay and win. You think the writing's on the wall. Tom is officially divorced, 2-0 since the divorce has been announced. You know something? I think you're on to something because this number should have been around a 5, 5.5.
Exactly.
And it's creeping. It's 3 right now. There are a couple 3.5s. Vegas knew exactly what they're doing here. They're going to get the Bucs money. It's going to be 4 by kickoff. We took the money line. Listen, I don't want to mess with the spread. I think Tom finds a way to win this game. I think it's going to be an ugly game. You are correct. You got to really, really pound Chubb here. Hunt has not been a factor of late. They tried to trade him at the deadline. They asked too much for him. You're going to need Garrett and company to put some pressure on Tom, get him out of his spots. I like the Bucs to win. Wouldn't be shocked if this was a 1-point game or 1 or 2-point game, either which way, Pops.
All right, I like that. And see, you're on the same thing that I'm on. That's the only reason why I'm taking the Browns, because everything smells of an upset. Because I would think the Bucks will be getting 6.5 here, because a lot of the money will be going towards them in this game. And then when the bettors see 3.5, they're like, ooh, you damn near breaking the window down for 3.5 on the Bucks. You know what I mean? You know that you're trying to break down the window on that spread. And if they would have made it 2.5, that would have just been, oh my God. That would have been, what are we doing here? 90-10. But this is where things get tricky, because people know that the Browns have the upset. The Browns are a live dog. It's that simple. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it goes. All right, not yet. Raiders and Seahawks. We're going to talk Chargers and Cardinals first. Chargers and Cardinals, and it's getting close, isn't it, Jeff? To firing time. Go get that pink slip ready, Bidwell, because I told you on several shows for the last few seasons that you have no business hiring Cliff Kingsbury as an NFL head coach, but you still went ahead and did it. Okay. Then you guys went ahead and said that we're going to change. We're going to go against all dynamics of football, and we're going to take the latest version of Doug Flutie and Kyler Murray, because that's all who Kyler is. Really, is he not? Is he not Doug Flutie 2.0, but better? We just reason with it now. You know what I mean? But we just accept it now. Before it couldn't be accepted because he played for the Bears, and the Bears are quarterback killers. So you know the story, Jeff. You know the story. You know the story. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at this Chargers team, and the Chargers need one bad. They need a win bad. You know what I mean? They already messed up by not getting that win before bye week. Okay. They were in position to get themselves a nice little win against the 49ers, but they figured out a way to not be able to score that game. Last game, they wind up in a good position, wound up actually being up 10 points late in the game. And still, Mahomes busted, I'm your daddy, and goes ahead and wins again in Los Angeles. And peep this, Jeff. He's never lost in LA. But has a losing record to him in Kansas City. That's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. But they had a big lead in that game. They blew that lead. Well, it wasn't a big lead, but they were leading most of the game, Jeff. You know what I mean? And I just feel like, they got to do better, man. I don't know what it is with the Chargers, man. I just don't really know what it is. Like, this team should be better too, right? But I don't know. I think Herbert had a lot of expectations, and I think that Keenan kind of let him know as much this season, and Mike Williams getting hurt. It's always the never-ending story with the Chargers hurt. You know what I mean? And I think the biggest problem with them is Eckler's a good all-around guy, pass catching, and getting good yardage. But they need a cowbell back. They need. They should have spent some extra equity on Kareem Hunt, in my opinion. They would have been able to get Hunt during the trade deadline. The Chargers could have a different look, and they could possibly be easy into the playoffs, because the playoffs is going to be different for them as well too. It's going to be different. So with this game, I just know that they're going to whoop up on the Cardinals. The Cardinals are done. I don't even think they win another game this year. They have 4.5, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this Cardinal team, as you saw, mailed it in. I mean, it was an 8-point line, went to 10. We knew Murray wasn't going to play. There's friction in the locker room with Murray. A coach has got 1 foot out. Who gets an extension? It's a dead team. Again, the number I think is a little low. I think Chargers should have been at least 6 here. Maybe they win by 3. I expect the Chargers to get it done. The money line's a little too steep for me. it's just the team that's mailed it in. And will he play this week? Who knows? It doesn't matter at this point. It's a must win for the Chargers. I expect them to find a way to win. We got them minus the 4.5, and they're hoping them to cover.
All right. So we got, sorry about that, y'all, but we got the Raiders and the Seahawks. I didn't want to put Oakland Raiders versus the Seattle Seahawks, okay, y'all? That was the only graphics that was giving me, like, literally. But this is going to be a good game, Jeff. This is going to be a lot better than it looks on paper. Because I hate to say this, but the day that they said Geno Smith was an MVP candidate, the day I said that, okay, they just mushed Seattle. They just literally just ended Seattle. Whatever run Seattle was making, it's over. Because you don't say, it's like a pitcher pitching a no-hitter. You don't say anything about it. You know what I mean? You just keep going with the flow. And let's be honest here. Geno Smith, you're a great quarterback. You're not great, but you're good. You know what I mean? You're better than what they labeled you as, right? But I keep it real with you. If I had Tyler Lockett, if I had Metcalf, I could throw for 300 a game as well too, Jeff. It wouldn't be hard. Noah Fant, it wouldn't be hard. And Pete Carroll coaching, it wouldn't be that hard. You know what I mean? You guys can see Russell Wilson would love to have those two wide receivers so he could get his stats back. You know what I mean? So I don't believe in Geno as much as the rest of the world does, but I do like the fact that he is having a revenge tour on a lot of guys that thought that he was not that good of a quarterback, because he always was a good quarterback. He got drafted by Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan destroyed a lot of quarterbacks. Ask Mark Sanchez, who's sitting in the booth right now. Went from being the darling of New York City to being a guy that just literally was holding a clipboard the last few seasons of his career. You know what I mean? So I never blame Mark for what went wrong in New York. I don't care. You know what I mean? I always put that on Rex, because I said I've never still to this day, I've never seen the coach put his starter in the fourth quarter of a preseason game against a bunch of guys that are not even going to make the team. Just, Rex Ryan, I swear, the owner was better than me with the Jets. I'd have fired Rex Ryan in the locker room for that. Straight up. So, that's the best way to show up your dad a hunt. Hey, to show that you really truly hate the quarterback. But let me get to the point at hand. Derek Carr cried, and last time Derek Carr got to complaining in the press conference, the Raiders went on a nice run and made the playoffs last year. Not saying that they made the playoffs, but I'm going to say this though: they're going to play another really close game here, and I like them with the plus 3.5. I just really feel like Seattle has ran into their bump in the road now. You know what I mean? Losing to the Buccaneers, that was pretty big right there, because they should have really won that game, but they never were really in it. So pretty much, I like the Raiders though this week. Plus 3.5.
I love where your eyes are. I really do. I'm going to go opposite, just because I think they're in full Tankapalooza. Waller, Renfro, another guy, all on the IR. And when you have your star wide receiver basically pumping his chest saying, hey, I'm doing everything I can. They got the walk-off. It was Denver. I could definitely see them winning this game, no doubt about it. I could see the Seahawks going on that run down. They've been playing with smoke and mirrors all year. We bought the hook. We took the Seahawks -3. I think the total is right now as we speak. It opened at 48. It's at 48. It's going to be a close game. This has got, your 27-24, 24-23 written all over it. With that said, wouldn't be shocked if the Raiders not only covered, won the game outright, but we're going to take the 12th man, Pete Carroll, the return of Kenneth Walker again. They should be able to control the line of scrimmage. They should be able to run all day on this team. We'll see who wins the turnover battle.
Sounds good, brother. Sounds good. All right, so we move forward. So pretty much there it is, and that's what it's going to be. So you guys stay tuned. This is the NFL Bet Exchange with your host, Pop DiBiase, the primetime capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson. And seriously, Raiders, I need step it up this week.
Now you and your friends can compete in the sport of kings and win big with Stable Duel. Get the app, pick your horses, and get in on the thrill of horse racing with daily games competing against other players. Bring home the glory and the cash, and move up the annual leaderboard while you leave your competition in the dust. Get in the game with Stable Duel. Play, race, win.
Good News Only Racing Club, led by the legendary Doug O'Neill, the trainer of 2 Kentucky Derby winners and I'll Have Another and Nyquist. Also trained 2-time Breeders' Cup champ Golden Sense, who are just a part of a long list of thoroughbred champions trained by Doug O'Neill. The Good News Only Racing Club has a young core of horses to look out for in Dennis's Celery, Irish Heatwave, and Notre Dame, just to name a few. Win the day every day with the Good News Only Racing Club, a proud sponsor of the NFL Bet Exchange.
All right, we're back. It's that time to talk about more late afternoon games and our Sunday night football game. But first, let's go ahead and jump into the Chiefs and the Rams. And you know what? We're running out of time right now, but I was at the last Rams Chiefs game at the Coliseum, and oh boy, I still just can't ever forget that night, my man. It's just still in my head how can two offenses play this great? Now we rewind 4 years later. Jared Goff is no longer the starting quarterback for the Rams. He's in Detroit. Todd Gurley's now retired. Literally, that whole Rams offense is gone, Jeff. Gone. Bye-bye. I think Cooper Kupp might be the only guy left. It's Cooper Kupp, and Cooper Kupp wasn't even seen as like their high-end receiver who he is now. He was just kind of like the weapon at that moment in time. But it's different times now. And you can say the same thing about the Chiefs. Tyreek Hill gone, fastest human being I've ever seen in the football field. Kareem Hunt's gone, another guy who's just awesome in person as well too. And the only person who's really left from that whole game, there's two people left, Aaron Donald and Patrick Mahomes. And it's funny because the final play was between Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Donald with the sack. So, I just want to reminisce a little bit. But I don't have much to say about this game, Jeff, but I'm taking 14.5. That's it. Because it's just 14.5. I'll let you take the floor for this one.
Well, going back to that game, we're having flashbacks. That Rams team was called the best show on surf. I go back to the glory days. Kurt Warner, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk. That was the offense you guys were emulating. In comes the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. It was probably one of the greatest Monday night games in history. It was just back and forth shootout at the OK Corral. You got a Chiefs team that shorter week. They played the Chargers Sunday night, a team that's really rounding into form versus a Super Bowl team that pushed all in, that's obviously now going through the motions. I don't know if Stafford will be playing. No running game, Cup out. Allen Robinson did score last week, but there's just nothing there other than Donald on defense. Listen, I think it's too many points. It's an inflated number. I mean, I'm looking at the under/over of 44. I mean, you need the Rams, honestly, to get to 17 to cover this game. Can they get to 17? I don't know. With that said, I took the points as well. I just think it's too much. Maybe the Chiefs win by 10, 13. Just try not to get hurt. The key to success in covering this game in the red zone, you got to turn it into a Butker day, not a Kels, not a I don't know if Juju will be back. Who knows if Slayton, who'd they get over there from the Giants that pulled the hammy? I'm drawing a blank. What's that?
Kadarius Toney?
Yeah. When you need him, he's nowhere to be found. And the Giants said, thank you very little. But in came Sky Moore, who had a good game as well. So listen, Kansas City's offense is banged up. Hardman, Juju, they're gone. Maybe Juju comes back, but the fact of the matter is it's just next man up, and you can't cover Kels. As much as I hate Gronk and I hated the Brady to Gronk, I mean, this Mahomes to Kels, I mean, people were comparing to back in the day Tony Gonzalez and that kind of effort. He just can't be stopped, and he's just getting better. So Chiefs win. Hopefully the Rams cover with the 14.5 Pups.
All right. I'm going to be honest with you, though. I still think the Chiefs are going to get put out in the first game of the playoffs. So
I can't see that happening, but we will be talking about it.
hey, everybody said A&C Cincinnati beating them either. And, but you know what I got to do is I just got to go heavy on the Chiefs, and that's when they'll lose.
Hey, listen, the game was lost in the last play before half. They take the field goal with pride. They go up 13. They're getting the ball to start the second half. Patrick came out in the second half all PO'd, and the Bengals did what the Bengals did in the whole playoffs, which was a shocker. And we'll see. The Chiefs are really rounding into form, though. I still think they're going to have to go through Buffalo, but who knows? Who knows, Pops?
Man, we're not giving Tennessee no type of chances.
No, we didn't last year either as a number one seed, and
Right.
and the Ravens slowly are putting things together. It is what it is. It's the AFC is wide open, and you can say the same with the NFC. I think there's a good possibility you could get that rematch, Pops, San Fran and the Chiefs that we had a few years ago. I still think the Bills will have something to say, but we shall see, sir.
I'm still rocking with my Super Bowl pick with the I'm still rocking with my Super Bowl pick with the Bills, even though the Packers failed me because I had the Packers actually lining it up with them. What the hell was I thinking? All right. Saints 4-7, 49ers 6-4. I know you love the Niners, I know you love them, but I just don't think that the Niners is, I don't know. I'm not thinking Super Bowl like everybody else would do. You know what I mean? I think that they're good, but I think that it's going to be. But I know why everybody's thinking Super Bowl, because when we get to the second season, that defense plays good enough to where it's going to be right there. It doesn't really matter how many they can score 10 points and still win the game. That's what a lot of people are looking at, is that defense is going to take it to the next level. I do understand that part, and there's not. And when we look at it, there's really not that many deadly offenses in the NFC this year. It's just really isn't, to be honest with you. They're all kind of just the same, except for if you're a Cowboys fan, you'll say, no, but us Cowboys, though, we score 49 and 40 and blah, 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 blah. So, they got some points going and everything. But this one, to me, I think that they don't overplay San Francisco's hand, though. This isn't the Cardinals that they're playing against this week, okay? And coming off of a easy win that they came off of last night, I just don't like the spread at all. So I'm taking the Saints here, the plus 9.5. Saints don't do anything attractive for me, but I'm just gonna take them because I just know this is gonna be another over bet to the 49ers.
Well, and I think the number's low, if you want my honest opinion. Short week coming back from Mexico. This should be an 11 and a half point spread. Listen, if you outside looking in, something's going on in the Saints, the locker room. Jameis comes out publicly, says, hey, it's a written bylaw in the NFL or most sports. You don't lose your starting job due to injury. He's healthy. He's ready to go. Yet they're going with Andy Dalton, who can't just, it is what it is there. So we'll get the real story at the end of the year. I think this will be one of those pedestrian type San Fran wins. Listen, when you look at them offensively, there was some plays that they moved McCaffrey into the slot. So in the playoffs, once Shanahan figures this out offensively, which he will, you're going to line up Debo, Ayuk, CMC in the slot with Kittle, with Mitchell in the backfield. I mean, good luck trying to stop that offense. Jimmy G is the type of quarterback that can manage that offense. Don't make mistakes. Yeah, he'll make a bonehead mistake here and there. But as you said, the defense is only going to get healthier. This team is a wagon. I think it's the team to beat. And here, I took the Saints as well. I took them plus the 10. We bought the hook and moved them up to 10. The under-over as we speak here for you, Pops. We can give you a score here. let's see what we got here for everyone here. Let's see here. Under, over, the opening number was 45.5. So if we can get to 17, I think we're safe here. They're saying 27-17 final. So keep them under 27 or get to 20, and we got to cover pups.
All right. I like it. Okay, so let's go ahead and move into our next game with Sunday Night Football. Sunday Night Football. All right, so we got a good Sunday Night Football game coming up, and it's going to be between the Eagles and the Packers. And this game will be in the city of brotherly love in Philadelphia. So you have the Philly Eagles coming in here 9-1, fresh off of a late win against the Colts. Then you have the Packers coming in here 4-7, another week where they just took our money and laughed in our faces. You know what I mean? I just can't stand the Packers right now, Jeff. Just I think most of my damn losses on this season have been because the Packers. You know, I think I picked them every single week they've lost. You know what I mean? So and was really confident about it too. And again, the Eagles to me, I feel like they hit the wall after that game against Washington. We're starting to really realize that you didn't play anybody. All right, you didn't play nothing. Okay.
And again,
Let's
really
stop.
realize
Let's
that
stop
you didn't
playing
play
the game.
all
Let's
right?
stop playing
You
the
didn't
game.
play nothing.
Let's stop playing the game where you guys are supposed to be some world beaters. You guys aren't the Patriots from 2000, from the undefeated Patriots. You guys aren't the 11-0 Steelers. You know, you guys just beat up on really bad teams. Let's just be honest about that. Okay. And so I think that the Packers have it to where this winds up being probably their second win of the season, but I'm not going to say they win. But I will say that they do cover. I take them with that, and I guess I'll make them the dog of the week.
I bought the hook, took them to 8. This is their season. Don't forget, they beat Dallas and they were ready to take on the world here, and they just got blitzed by Tennessee. Another one of those, I don't really feel like playing. I'm going to grab my ball and leave. Aaron Rodgers' efforts at Lambeau Field, a place where you couldn't go in and win. And now everyone's going in there and winning. And here, I think it's Custard's last stand. Now, the Eagles can make a statement. They made one against Minnesota on a Monday night, and then they obviously laid an egg on their last Monday night. Here, they're going to be on Sunday night. They were lucky to win in Indianapolis, and under over a 44 with a 7. It's up to 46.5. By kickoff, will be 47. They got this at 27-20. Packers are going to have to put up 23-24 to compete. I think they compete, and Packers +8 is our play, Pops.
About $330,000.
You there, Pops?
Other websites not tracking there. Who knows if that's actually not up to the trying to save face. In the long run. But I think that you said in your intro, two-factor authentication is probably important for every website, especially using. But yeah, this is an interesting thing. I think we'll probably see more and more of it coming down the pipeline. Targeting this, we'll probably see more serious as well. It's an interesting case. I know we had a first person against some of them that I just talking tonight. So an interesting storyline for sure. And then I have to imagine customers are happy and see. Um, I think we talked about in the past, sports of kind of touting the things they do well now. So we really need to be more favorite sports betting. And you have to imagine security might be one of them too now. As we move forward, as it really incidents happen, we start seeing experts with like, hey, we've got this incredibly and breaches. This is stuff we do they say. That's the crop that we're at. So I think that's fair to see that too.
I don't know what's going on there, peeps, but the last game is Pittsburgh and Indianapolis, and under over 38, 2.5 Colts lead, Colts favored. ECSI took the Steelers plus the 125 on the money line. Expect a 2017 victory, something of in that area. Tough game for the Colts to bounce back on. Obviously, they're going to have to slow down Taylor, win the turnover battle. Should be a defensive battle, and I think that we're going to get the Steelers home.
All right, I'm back. Sorry about that.
I just
Okay, so we got the Eagles winning and the Packers covering. All right, cool. Okay, let's get to our last game. And I know this is just so funny, like just jumping back into the show. But yeah, we went. Yeah, sorry, technical difficulties. We're back. We're back. Yes, I know technical difficulties. We're back. We're back. But Monday Night Football, you got Steelers and the Colts. 3-7 Steelers team going against the Colts team 4-6-1. This is going to be a big love fest for Saturday because it's going to be Saturday on ESPN and rah, 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 rah. And Jeff Saturday, our colleague. And, I'm going to just say this. Why is everybody so mad Jeff Saturday got a job? You know what I mean? A lot of times coaches go out there and go get an interim coach and somebody from the sideline that they ain't gonna hire at the end of the year. I keep trying to explain this to y'all. Irsay went and got his future head coach. What's so bad about that? Instead of going out there and wasting his time and bringing in another guy, he said, "I'm gonna go get Peyton or Jeff Saturday, the two most successful guys ever in my franchise's history, not named Johnny Unitas." So, but I'm talking about Indy, and let me take that back. Only successful people we had with the Indianapolis coaches, Manning and Saturday. Because, even Dickerson was just a throw in trade, and he just wanted to get paid anyway. He didn't do much in Indianapolis. But you know what? We've been spending a lot of time. It's an easy call for me here. I like the way that the Steelers played last week. It's just the Bengals were just so much better than them last week, and that made a lot of sense. But this week, I think that they wind up getting themselves a good win on Monday Night Football. I like them with the plus 125.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think, as I said this way, as we were frozen, it's an under over of 38 and a hook. It's a 2.5. Colts put all their eggs in the basket against the Eagles. The Steelers come up short against the Bengals. Inside controlled setting. I think Pickett to Pickens will be a big play. I think Harris starts to wear down on Indy. Obviously, you got to slow down Taylor. Put some pressure on Matt Ryan, and I think Watt will be able to do that. A close game. I think if the Steelers can get to 23, I see a 23-20, 2017 type, but I'm with you. I took the Steelers plus the 125, not just to cover, but to win outright.
Yes, sir. All right, there it is, and there it is. So, you guys, I want to thank you very much for tuning in today. You guys are the absolute best. Jeff is the man. Thank you so much for your patience and everything like that. I know we started a little later than we wanted to, and we went a little over as well too. I try to make the show just an hour, but come on, we got 4 different segments that we go to get into. This is never going to be an hour show. So pretty much that's where we're at. Hopefully we all have a big week this week and everything like that. We got a full schedule for the first time in about 8 weeks as well too. Every team in the NFL is playing this week, so that's something to go ahead and look at. There's a lot of options for you guys as well too. But I will say this: it should be another great week, parody week, and things like that. And you guys just be ready for some more great calls and great analysts as we move forward, because I know it's just going to get better as we go, Jeff.
Without a doubt, it's Thanksgiving week. It's holiday week. Listen, it's time to be spent with your friends and your family. Enjoy Thanksgiving. Yes, there's 3 NFL games. Yes, there is the Egg Bowl. Yes, there's college basketball tournaments. Pick your spots. Have some fun with this. Just get ready for week 13 when we're back next Tuesday, and we'll go from there. Again, it's time to be thankful and grateful versus trying to make millions, trying to pick these NFL games. Because listen, myself and Pops have had an amazing year. It can change on a blink of an eye, and we're just here to give out some educated analysis by paralysis, and hopefully pick some winners, more winners than losers. I'm more concerned if I'm going to get the leg or am I going to get stuck with the wing. So wishing you and your family a happy Thanksgiving, and look forward to many more weeks here.
And same here, Jeff. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your beautiful family as well, too. And hopefully you guys have a great time with the 40 people that probably will be showing up at your house. So,
we go to the my brother-in-law's, and there's usually, I think last year there was about 32 of us. We'll tiptoe in there around 3:00. We have breakfast at our place on Christmas Day. So we did the Friendsgiving on Sunday, which was a preview. And now this is the main course on Thursday.
All right. Sounds good. Jeff, you better not come back here being a bowling ball.
No. We're trying to get into fighting shape, Pops.
I heard that. All right. So we're going to wrap it up. And as usual, it's always a blast doing the show with you, brother. And you guys know where to find Jeff at EC Sports Invest on the Twitter. And you guys can go ahead and follow. And Jeff has more shows today, so you guys make sure to tune in for those as well, too. So pretty much I'll be back in a bit with the Primetime Angles as well. So you guys be ready for that. But this is the NFL Bet Exchange with your host, the one and only Pop DBIC, the Primetime Capper, and the Don of Cape Cod himself, Mr. Jeff Dawson, and we are out of here.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFL Bet Exchange, where the sharpest bets are laid. This show was produced by the Prime Wave Media Group.